Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that keeps things scary and bright during the darkest nights of the year. I'm your haunted host, Jennifer, a professional medium and a teller of ghost stories. Tonight, let's gather around the flickering candlelight while I tell you a few ghost stories that take place around Christmas time. I have found some seriously creepy ones for you. Then join me at my séance table for a message from the spirits. I promise you this medium session will be more spiritual than spooky. I open the space with the intention of having a spirit come close for someone listening to the podcast. I provide details to identify the spirit and also deliver a message for whom it connects for. But first, did you know mistletoe is said to have protective properties against negative spirits? Perhaps grab some, because the spooky winter ghost stories start right now. When I was a young kid, I remember randomly waking up at night and hearing whispering voices. This happened a lot. Around Christmas one year, I awoke late into the night, and I didn't hear any voices, but I did need to use the bathroom. I walked from the bedroom and then distinctly heard someone whisper, "Look!" And to my astonishment, a red light was illuminating the wall at the very bottom of the stairs, almost like a spotlight. I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid, and it being a few days from Christmas, I knew what this light was. It had to be Santa. I was excited, and I began walking down the stairs to greet him. The red light began moving away from me and was fading into the darkness of the living room, so I picked up my pace down the stairs. That's when I heard him. It was a very strong, masculine voice, different from the first, and not my father's voice. It commanded, "Stop, right now, go back up those stairs." I froze and then turned around. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash. This sent me running into my mother's bedroom, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the rest of the night. When we awoke the next morning, a string of poinsettia lights on the railing down the stairs was pulled down to the bottom of the landing. Some were broken, and the red flowers pulled from the string were lying in a single crumpled pile. The dry sink in the living room had fallen from the wall. My mother couldn't explain it. My father was worried we had been the victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There were no valuables missing, no sign of a break-in, and there was no reason any of this had happened. And then I saw it. There, on the edge of the broken wooden dry sink, there were 3 indentations where the finish of the wood had been clawed violently. Whoever or whatever had been down in the living room the previous night had grabbed the sink from the wall and threw it down. That was what the bang had been. I was mortified. After that night, I had never heard a single whisper or mysterious voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, but I can tell you that the reality was something had physically wrecked items in our house near the bottom of that stairwell. I always wished I could have thanked that voice that had stopped me from going down those stairs. I'm 20 years old now, and because of this incident, I'm still very afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells. I've never been one to really believe in the paranormal. I grew up loving horror movies and such, but I never really believed in it. However, since last year, what I'm willing to believe all changed when I moved into my college house. Our house is your stereotypical creepy old house. The basement is held up by old wooden beams, and this lower level space hosts an eclectic and disturbing mixture of weird bugs, mold, and has a secret hideaway crawl space. Essentially, nobody ever goes down there unless it's to check the oil or mess with the fuse box. Me and my roommates, from past and present, a total of 6 grown women, have all agreed our house is in fact haunted. We've seen weird figures and shadows throughout the house, probably more than we'd ever like to calculate. Objects also fall inexplicably, and scratching noises can be heard from the walls. Probably not the smartest idea, but I casually played with a Ouija board and was told we have a girl ghost. We've all agreed she seems friendly, but now I'm not so sure. Since last autumn, while walking in the neighborhood, we've all encountered this weird little nutcracker toy. While we're outside, we'll come across it in random places on the way to and from our walks to campus. We've all agreed it's creepy, but just to let it be. I mean, who wants to touch it anyway? But today, it's 4 a.m. I just walked by our dark television to get a snack from the kitchen, and the nutcracker is behind the TV, peeking out and facing me. I'm genuinely freaked out because it's right before the holidays, and all my roommates are gone, traveling to be with family. So, I don't think anyone brought it into our house before they left, and I certainly didn't do it. I went to lie back down in my bed, and I heard a creaking, scratching noise outside my door where the living room and that toy would be. I'm actually pretty frightened, as nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I can't wait for the holidays to be over. When I was 8 years old, I saw something really weird on Christmas Eve. This was, of course, many, many years ago, but I can still recall it like it happened yesterday. Back then, I still believed in Santa Claus, as a good amount of children do, and I had had the usual anxiety and excitement for Santa's visit. The expectations of special and feverishly requested Christmas presents to be delivered under our tree. After I went to bed, I had some difficulty going to sleep thanks to all the holiday nerves. I had finally drifted off when I awoke to the sound of soft footsteps somewhere in my room. I automatically assumed it was Santa Claus, and I was afraid that if I saw him, he might leave prematurely or his magic would fail. I opened one eye, just a peep, and saw this dark figure standing over my bed, staring at me. It was tall, probably around 6 feet tall, and it was completely black. It looked almost blacker than black. I couldn't see any eyes, a mouth, nor a nose, but I could clearly see the outline of a head, arms, body, and legs. It looked bigger than the average person, so thinking it was Santa kind of made sense. It stood there, completely still for 10, maybe 15 seconds, until it took a few steps closer. It leaned in a little more and then stayed there for a few moments more. Even though I couldn't see a face, I knew it was looking right at me. I had that weird feeling you get when you know you're being watched. I closed my eyes and waited for a few minutes. When I looked again, it was gone. I lived in a pretty old house at this time, so the doors and the floorboards were squeaky, creaky, and loud. I had heard the footsteps, but I never heard the door open. I never saw this figure again, though I had some other spooky experiences in this house. That morning, I asked my mom if she heard Santa when he came into my room last night, and she looked confused for a second, and then she played along and agreed she had. Though now I realize she was just humoring a child at Christmas time. I know this wasn't a person, and I know this wasn't a dream. I also know that entities are often attracted to big emotions and energy, so I can't help but think that Christmas would be a perfect time for a ghost to come by for a visit. Are you enjoying your spooky visit? Please support the podcast by liking, sharing, and subscribing. The ghosts may be talkative, but they are lousy at marketing, so every click helps. Tell your friends and please leave a kind review so that others may join us. The spirits and I thank you. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits this evening, so thank you for joining me. As I work tonight, I am working with Snowflake Obsidian. Snowflake Obsidian is very good with supporting you and soothing you through your grief or any difficult emotions. It's also, because it's obsidian, obsidian is also a very good protective stone to help shield your energies during vulnerable times. Okay, I'm going to clear my mind, open up the space. I have someone's friend coming in this evening. She really feels like she was your best friend. It has this sleepover vibe to your friendship. You know, sitting on floors, watching things, reading things, listening to music. I even see you throwing popcorn at each other. Very much feels like that cozy familiarity to it. Like you two really felt like you were sisters in life, soulmates. She's sharing with me that she had a lot of grand ideas and things she wanted to do in life, but she also held herself back. It doesn't feel like she was an overthinker. This feels more like she just lacked confidence and self-esteem when it came down to actually acting upon her dreams and wants and wishes. I'm getting the sense that she would play with the zipper on her coat, her jacket, and it was just kind of something she would absentmindedly do while standing and talking. I'm also seeing her kind of like shifting back and forth as she talked. It feels like you guys would go out and get coffee and kind of stand around outside and just kind of talk and take in the fresh air a little bit. Her message for you tonight is, of course, she wants to see you get out there. She wants you to venture forth and just live life and try not to worry about how you're going to make that happen. If you don't start the steps, you're never going to get there. So don't discourage you if there's something you really want to do, but it's like, I don't have the funds to do that. Don't stop your dreams before you even try. Try, explore, start small, but take action as you go forward. And as you move through life, really use your intuition, because she's here to help guide you too. And that's how she can talk to you, through just your quiet knowing. For some reason, she is bringing up crayons, like a big box of crayons with all the colors. If that connects for you and there's meaning in all of these details, please reach out, because I do love to hear. Thank you. Would you like a free spirit reading with me and record your reading for the podcast? Sign up for your chance to be selected by visiting italktoghosts.com/guest. And as an added bonus, if you don't want to leave your reading up to chance, I'll let you in on a secret. There's a discount offer to book a private session with me, so you can book a date and time for certain. Visit italktoghosts.com/guest for more details. And with that, dear listener, we have reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed my spirit work that I shared with you this evening, as well as those spooky ghost stories that take place during Christmas time. Have you ever had a paranormal experience over the holidays? I would love to hear about it, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening, happy holidays, and good night.